My name is Joshua Taylor. Recently, my mom, Tabitha Taylor, had just put out a Facebook video. Out of hypocrisy, bitterness, and offense, she made this video speaking evil lies about my father. Before watching, I want to warn you that what you're about to see is shocking, and it isn't for children. It's going to be very graphic pictures and memories and stories that will be told. In this video, you will hear why and who is pressuring her to speak, her motive behind the video, her betrayal in trying to take leaders and members of the ministry away to follow her, the adulteries and cheating she did during her marriage, the times I had caught her having sex in the home, and her boyfriend threatening even to fight me and when I found nude pictures of her on a computer. Each issue she brought up in her false pretense of doing the video to help people is exposed and brought to light for what it really is. It hurts me to even have to make this video, but I have to do it because of the destruction that she's seeking to cause unjustifiably against my father and the people that she is going to hurt by spreading these evil seeds. I'm making this video because my mother, who is Tabitha Taylor, just recently put out a video on Facebook Live speaking evil things about my father and claiming accusations about him, and also the ministry that I'm currently working in. And I want to let you all know I love both of my parents. I honor both of them. It's been that way since I was a kid, ever since I could remember anything. That's always been taught to me. So I'm not coming on here just because I want to speak against my mother. That's not it at all. I'm up here to speak truth, and hopefully that when she watches this, she will be able to see where she's wrong at. Please understand that I'm not doing this in order to defend my father. I don't need to do that because God already defends him. Also, my father is very integral. For years, he's told people and been open about his mistakes. Been very open about the things he's done wrong. Not just to me, but to millions of people. Everything that you hear on my mother's video is either a lie or a half-truth. And as you can see, the Lord has moved my father on and continued to bless him in ministry. If you look at it today, you'll see that over 100 countries come here to be in the conferences where he teaches about Jesus, and nearly 200 countries tune in and watch online. We have a 24/7 open prayer line that people call into literally every day. We've had Buddhists, Muslims, and ISIS members all call in to that same prayer line, telling us how they saw Jesus face to face from reading that book that he wrote and converting and giving their lives to him.
I was born and raised Muslim, and I read the book Face to Face. Jesus appeared to us. We felt so much peace. We felt so much love. Jesus saved me. Jesus gave me an extension of my life.
I was brought up as a Hindu, worshipping idols. I bought the book, and as I began reading the book, I had my first encounter with the Lord.
Not to mention all the thousands and thousands of people that come from all over the world just to be healed. They come here and they get their miracle. The miracle ministry that flows through here is so strong and so powerful. I've witnessed so many miracles of so many different kinds, including people being raised from the dead. But you want to make it seem like he's gotten off and like he's going down the wrong path. All because you're too blinded by your offense. And see, I know that this is real because I saw Jesus myself. I saw him with my own eyes. It doesn't matter if I'm his son or not. I saw Jesus. And he's not just doing the spiritual side either. He's also doing the natural side. He builds wells. He builds orphanages for kids. He builds places and homes for women in sex slave trafficking all over the world. And you're trying to tell me that he's unintegral? Wrong. As my mother even said in her own video, this stuff that she's talking about is 15 to 20 years old. So you can already see that this is just an attack from the enemy. And I know this because the things that she's saying is either a lie or it's a half-truth, which is still ultimately a lie if you understand what that means. And I'm not gonna expose everything that she's done, but I'm exposing enough just so you guys really know what's going on. But before we go any further, I just want to say this. Mom, don't think just because you didn't use his full name that people don't know who he is. People know who you're talking about. That's why it doesn't matter whether you use his name or not. You're still out of order for going against him. And you're not just going against him, you're going against this ministry, which is established by the Lord Jesus Christ himself and God the Father. I'm not just gonna sit by and let that happen. That's why I'm doing this, not my father, because I want the truth to be known. I want people to see the whole thing, but I also want them to be careful on who they listen to, because you're easily deceiving them, because you're making it seem like you're all nice and you're the victim and all that, but that's not the real truth. Honestly, I hope that the reason why I made this video, you said in your video that you left with nothing. You said you left without a fight or anything.
I walked away from my marriage and I had nothing, absolutely nothing. I left with the clothes on my back.
But number one, you tried to steal leaders, steal staff members from a ministry they were already faithful to, where they were seeing Jesus face to face. Not only that, I remember the very night that the separation happened, you snuck me and my sister out of the house without my father knowing, and we went and stayed in an apartment, and we didn't know what was going on, of course, because we were children. Not only that, he gave you a Mercedes even after all this happened. He's blessed you way more times than once. Not only has he given you a Mercedes, he's paid your rents at multiple different apartments. He's paid for your groceries every single month. He put me and my sister in a prestigious school in a way better area and paid for your rent there, to live there just so we could go. He didn't have to do that. She didn't tell you about the fact that she cheated twice in the marriage with an old boyfriend that she used to date. She didn't say anything about her affair with Jonathan Ferguson.
Have a couple that was praying for me, Apostle Jonathan Ferguson and Prophetess Amanda Ferguson. They have been so sweet to me. Those two stood by me when no one else really truly stood by me. People didn't necessarily reject me, but they stood by me like no other animal.
Actually, both of them are supporting her video and this thing she's trying to do, this ministry she's trying to build from tearing down another man of God. They're both in support of her. But his wife doesn't even know that she was screwing around with him while they were together. Didn't even know that. As a matter of fact, I know someone personally who saw Jonathan Ferguson and my mother at a church with his arm around her, and then when he saw that person in the room, it was like he had seen a ghost. And not only that, but it's completely out of order as a wife for you to start following a man who was initially following your husband. You know, he started out in ministry by following and getting training from my father. He doesn't talk about how he used to play the keyboard and work and serve in my father's ministry. You know, he doesn't talk about how he used to fly from city to city with him, learning from his experience. Not only that, he didn't know my mother at all before he came here. He still didn't know her even when he joined the ministry. It wasn't until after she left that he betrayed my father and sided with her, and then began to have sexual relations with her. And it's a shame for Jonathan to completely betray my father and return him evil for good, considering all the things that he's taught him, everything that he's done for him. One thing that my mother says in this video is about the fact that when she starts the church, that over a period of time she begins to backslide and she closes it down. But that's not true. She only told you part of it. The real truth is the fact that when she first started this church, she was up on the pulpit doing the same thing she is doing now, speaking against my father. And what happened was Jesus appeared to my father in a dream and told him that he would shut her church down in a space of 2 years because of what she has done. Now, after he had this dream, not only did he just tell me and my sister this, he also told my mother. And then, of course, she tried to say that that's not true, she didn't believe it, and sure enough, in 2 years, her church was shut down. This validates the face-to-face relationship that my father has with Christ, and that God is with him, and he's fighting this. But the whole reason why the church shut down is because she actually had an affair with a married man. His name is Eddie Coleman, and his wife Chrissy Coleman found out, and the rest of the church found out. It was a big fiasco, and everything just split up. It just broke apart. That's the real reason why her church was shut down. You're trying to use the excuse of backsliding, but we all know that the only reason people backslide is because they want to do their own thing. Backsliding isn't someone forced you or something forced you to stop doing what God wants you to do. It's your own flesh that you agree with to go do your own thing. Now, my mother also said in the video about how she never used to deal with lust before she got involved with my father. That is also a lie. Because before she ever met my father, she had a child born out of wedlock. She was already involved with a man. They were having sexual relationships, and he ended up getting her pregnant, and they had a baby. So if you weren't dealing with lust or any of that, now how is it that you have a baby out of wedlock? It wasn't an accident. Not to mention the many times that I've caught her doing sexual things, even after the divorce. And how badly it hurt me. One more thing I wanted to address is that my mother said in the video that my father had 2 women in the backseat with him, rubbing on him and doing all these other things. First of all, he doesn't even remember anything like that. That is completely false. He would never have two women, especially if he was married or someone that he was involved with. That's ridiculous. You have to be making that up. He doesn't remember anything like that. He hasn't done anything like that. I'm sure any man who's straight would remember something like that if that had happened. Like I said before, he's been open with his mistakes, so why would he try to cover up this one? That doesn't make any sense. Then there was another incident where I actually caught her having sex with a guy. Well, I caught her having sex with a guy more than once. The first time it was with, and those were 2 different people. The first time I was coming home from school, and I remember coming upstairs, and I went in my room, and then I heard a guy moaning, and I went up to her door, and it sounded like she was giving this guy head. Well, I knew she was because I didn't hear anything from her. I only heard the guy moaning. And I started banging on the door. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Y'all need to chill out. All this. I was so upset because of how hurt I was, I had to literally leave the house. I didn't know what to do. I was shaking. I didn't even know where I was going. I just had to leave the house. and I'm not just your kid. I'm a boy. At that time, I was 16 when that was the first time. I was 16, and I was still hurt by the fact that my parents, who I loved very dearly, both of them, very close to both of them, you know, I wasn't completely healed from that. As a matter of fact, I suppressed a lot of emotions because of how hurt I was. So I already didn't want to see her with another man, let alone catch her giving one head. You know, it was very detrimental to me. It affected me a lot. So I just left the house, you know. Then there was another incident where I was a senior, and this one was worse, way worse. I'm coming home from school again, and mind you, every mom knows when her kids come from school. And me being a man, me being a male who loves his mother and who is protective over the women that he loves, and witnessing things like that, you gotta understand that it's literally just in our genetic makeup to be like that towards the women that we're close to. We don't want to be around another man we don't even know and find out that he's screwing your mother, and then you think you're not gonna do anything about that. Are you crazy? That's ridiculous. So anyway, I'm coming home from school again, and I come upstairs, and this time I hear both of them moaning. This is a different guy as well. And I was so angry. I was so upset. Again, I'm like, cause I at this point I had talked to her about it, and she had even apologized to me about doing it the first time. So at this point, I was like, why are you doing it again? I explained to her, I shared my heart with her about how much that hurt me. And then I catch her doing it again, and you know, I'm banging on the door. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Stop. Like, I'm going crazy, I'm going ballistic. And she comes out the door, mad at me, yelling at me, saying, who are you yelling at? And I'm the mama, I do what I want in my house, you know, all this stuff. And I'm telling her, I don't care about you being, I don't care who you are. If you doing that in the same house that I'm in, one, that's disrespectful. And then two, as your son, why would you do that? Especially with a man I don't even know. I don't know him personally. Why would you do that in the same house and you know I'm gonna be there? And then this is what she tells me. She says, if you don't like it, you can get out. And then I had to end up calling one of the staff, you know, to come pick me up, because it was at that point I was just fed up, and I went and I just left and lived with my father at that point, because I was not about to be in the same house and be okay with hearing my mom screwing a guy, hearing the headboard banging whenever she wanted to. Forget that. I'm not doing that. And the thing is, she wants to make my father look like he's so evil, like he did so much wrong to her. But not once do you hear her talk about the detail of what she's done, even within the marriage. I even remember a time where I was coming down the steps. This was years after the divorce, still in high school. I think my junior year, actually. You know, I was either 16 or 17 at the time, between that age. And her boyfriend at the time actually tried to fight me. You know, he was pushing on me and doing all these things because we had got into it, you know, and she didn't even defend me. She didn't try to stop him. All she did was put her hand in front of his chest, like that was gonna actually stop him from doing anything. She didn't try to defend me at all. She also mentioned in her video that the staff there was worshiping and serving the man of God in the wrong way and unbalancedly.
God showed me in a dream of me carrying my ex-husband on a throne. He literally became my God. But where the enemy got in and perverted, he perverted our love for God to the place that we began to worship this man.
First of all, God gave you that dream of you holding him on a throne and you making him a God. He didn't say that about anyone else. Who are you to judge how other people may feel about someone? Just because you may have had a problem with idolatry in a man does not mean that everyone else did. I remember when you even tried to tell me that directly. I know for a fact people here right now, out of my experience of being around them from their own words, and from my experience, that we are not serving a man, we are honoring. And like you said in your video, we're giving honor where honor is due. Which once again, doesn't make sense how you could give honor to a man and then try to take it away at the same time. What are you doing? You're not making any sense. No, we're not worshiping a man. We're giving honor to a man who chose to pay a price that none of us was willing to make. You certainly didn't choose to pay a price. What happened? Did he come to your revival and you got him saved? No, it was the other way around. And who are you to try to tear down someone who has helped you ultimately in the long run? I bet you if you had never met this ministry, if you had never met that man, you would not have known Jesus the way you know him right now. And I think that's way more important than you holding on to your offense about some crap that happened 20 years ago. Now, something else my mother mentioned in her video was about at the wedding day, my father didn't allow her to have her side of the family there at the wedding because of some past situation that happened. First of all, I want to say that that's not true. The reason why they weren't there was because it was a very quickly planned wedding and there was only a few people there. As a matter of fact, his own side of the family wasn't there as well. You see how she's trying to make him seem like some controlling and evil man? That's not the case. She also spoke about a dream she had concerning the spirit of the destroyer, saying that in this dream it was a demon that looked like a very beautiful woman, and that my father in the dream opened the door and let her in. And she said every time that he would fornicate, that this demon would blow holes inside of him. Now, I don't know where that dream came from, considering if that was true, he would not be here right now. He would have been sat down somewhere. God would not be with him. You know, these things of all these blessings coming through, all these people continuously getting saved through this ministry, that would not be happening. One of the things I wanted to address was she tried to say that you know, my father abused her, and like he was beating on her, and how he was cheating on her and doing all these wicked things, and she really tried to play the victim like she did nothing wrong. First of all, I have never ever seen my father abuse my mother. Not one time. My father has never abused her. He has never done anything outlandish like that. That's not even his heart. I know, because I know him. I've been around him. It's my father. I was there. I've never seen my father abuse her. I remember she claimed about how in the beginning she was really building honor. She was really showing how appreciative she was to meeting this man, which is my father, and coming around this ministry. She admitted about how it changed her entire life, how different it was from every other church she's ever been to, all the other ministries. She noticed that she was able to learn how to listen to the Lord, walk with him, see him, have a real personal relationship with him. She learned how to pray, you know, all these amazing things. She learned signs and wonders and miracles, and she had never seen that before.
I have to give honor to where honor is due. My ex-husband trained me, and he taught me very thoroughly how to go to God and how to pray and how to intercede and how to talk to God.
And she gave that honor, and then she ends up contradicting herself by saying that if she had knew the word more, she wouldn't have gotten herself into that situation.
But if I knew the word of God for myself, then I could say, okay, you know what, this is not.
That doesn't make any sense, considering the fact that you just said that your life would have been basically boring and lame if it wasn't for this ministry. Not only that, but she also goes further into her story with meeting this man in this ministry, about how she has a dream about kissing him. And later she says that he has a dream where the Lord told him that she likes him, and she started to pursue him because of that, you know. And not only did she pursue him, but she pursued the ministry, because as she said in the video, it was so real, and she was so hungry for God once she came around this revival and all these amazing things. And so, as you can see, she starts pursuing the ministry, but then she ends up saying later that she's basically saying that she regrets ever doing that, and it's her fault for not knowing enough word. But that doesn't make any sense at all. So she ends up saying about how she later on in the relationship with him, about how he was messing with other women, and God was revealing to her about how he was messing with other women and things like this. But the thing is, she said all this stuff happened in 1996.
When I'm telling you about these stories, this stuff happened many years ago, back in 1995, 96. This happened back in 96.
It's 2018 right now, which is well over 20 years. And you are still holding and harboring offense and unforgiveness over these incidents. It says in Matthew 24 about how offense leads to hatred, and how hatred leads to betrayal. And best believe that's exactly what she did. She betrayed the ministry, you know, and it's a shame that a woman could let Satan get inside her so much that she would harbor this offense for 20 years and then turn around and try to accuse the person. It's not a request, it's an order that you forgive them. And then you have the audacity to accuse someone, which is one of the devices that Satan uses, that's Luciferian. Now I hope that you all have accepted the truth from this video. Thank you all for watching.